Yep.
City, please remind us today's proverb.
From the Union of the Comoros.
Okay.
If you steal while carrying your son on your back, you teach him how to steal.
If you steal while carrying your son on your back, you teach him how to steal.
Yes, you do.
Okay. So is it discouraging you from carrying your son on your back while you steal, or is it discouraging you from
Stealing or carrying your son on your back?
Right.
Perhaps both.
both?
Oh, it's like a reverse jacket. You can wear one side, you can wear the other side. Really depends.
Still a jacket.
The political landscape in the country has been changing. You know, I was saying the Kenya that April knew and the Kenya that July knows are different Kenyas. Completely different Kenyas. In April, there are people who you'd have told July, there'll be a completely new cabinet. They would have told you, well, probably. You'd have told them, for example, the leadership of ODM will be in government. They'll tell you, yeah, mambo tulimaliza last year bwana. Mambo ya demonstrations za sufuria kwa kichwa. My friend, we finished. They had to get into government. This one, no way. Hey, today, 25th of July, the leadership of ODM, 2 deputy party leaders, the party chairman, the leader of the minority in the National Assembly are where?
Inside.
Nominated to join the cabinet in what is now called a broad-based government. And this is following an uprising by young citizens of this country who were joined by their brothers and their parents, who said we want a better, more accountable government. We want a government that responds to the wishes of Kenyans. We want a government that upholds the tenets of the Constitution from the preamble all the way to all the schedules. All of them, including the oaths of office. All. And they demanded that they want a different kind of government. And they wanted a more inclusive government. They wanted a more responsive government. They wanted a government that is alive to the wishes of the Kenyan people. The political class listened, and they're like, hey, these young people are serious? Wow. Let's listen to them. So what do? Let's all form the government. And now here we are today. Ruto hangs on to Raila for survival. Odinga's ODM party, 2 deputy party leaders, its chairman and the minority leader get plum posts as President Ruto unveils the second batch of cabinet nominees, with 5 old faces making a comeback and critics hitting out at head of state for ignoring Gen Z's demand for professionals. So in total, so far, the president disbanded his cabinet, comprising 22 ministers, sent 21 home. Out of those 21, he has nominated 11 back to government. Are we together so far?
Yes, so far.
Are we together? Are we together? 10 new faces. Those 10 new faces include the leadership of ODM, 2 deputy party leaders, the chairman, and the leader of the minority in the National Assembly. Okay? And then other new faces. Are we together so far?
So far.
Okay. Now, the Daily Nation says, enter Raila, the coalition king, from Moi's corporation, Kibaki's coalition, Uhuru's handshake, to Ruto's broad-based government. The opposition leader has been a man not far away from the center of power, whether through the back door or through otherwise, entering into some loose arrangement with the government of the day. Now, there are those who looked at this and we saw clips of jubilation in some areas where they were saying, oh yes, we saw some people pouring onto the streets of Mombasa yesterday and saying, yes, our former governor is now poised to join government. We saw some people celebrating and saying, yes, our former member of parliament is now going into government. Others was, yes, our current member of parliament is now getting into government. And then there were those who said, oh my God, is this what we were really asking for? Is this what it has come to? How do you put the balance?
I think the glaring question that one must ask at this point is that where do the lives of Kenyans and the opinions of people come into play in all of this? And that, unfortunately, we're going to have to say the same thing again. That when you see people behaving a certain way, or you see decisions being made in a certain manner, and you ask yourself that where do we fall in all of this? And for me, the very clear answer is that they are telling you where you fall. They are telling you very clearly what they feel about you being centric to this whole issue of governance. And I would just ask that you believe what they're telling you. That you, as the majority of the population over whom governance then is wielded, really don't matter when it comes to how it's going to be led. That it's for a few people, and that this horse trading will continue no matter what. That when an opportunity is presented for you to be part of the thing that at one moment you continuously criticize, that you will take it with both hands. That you will not think twice, but that you will take it and be part of the thing. And if you pledged your allegiance to one side completely, that the people who heard you and watched you pledge this allegiance should actually take it with a grain of salt, or maybe in this case, a whole sack. Because in a very short 1 year, all of that seemed to turn on its head. And almost wanting to make a blanket statement that really doesn't matter what a politician says, that it just depends on the particular direction in which the wind is blowing on that day. And if it blows in the other direction in a very short time from that, they will go with the direction of the wind as well. Fair weather friends is what they are called. If the weather is fair, they'll be your friend. If it isn't, they won't.
But then, Ndu, this so-called minority is indeed a minority, right? And the minority has been put in the position that it occupies currently by the majority. So how would the minority just look and flip the finger at the majority so blatantly? Or is it not the case?
When you speak of minority, what exactly are you referring to?
The top political leadership. And the majority being the rest of the citizens.
My mind goes back to a discussion we had immediately after the elections and the formation of UDA, and whether that was constitutional or not, where political parties joined, was it URP? And they formed government, and there were discussions. These discussions have died down, but never really went away, as to whether we were abrogating the constitution or not, or whether somebody who was elected in another party could actually join, or whether this government then ensured that the law supported that move. That discussion comes in now again, when you have people who are now purportedly in the opposition being told now you can join in, and you're being told there is a government of national unity, and the question is it constitutional? Because if the discussion on constitutionality is now brought into the fray, then how do you form a government, a broad-based government supposedly of national unity, to bring about change if it's based on a legality or an abrogation of the constitution? How then does it actually stand legally? That's one. Two, if we look at because the utterances of politicians from both sides of the divide are loud, but they were not as loud as the voices of the Gen Z. Their demands were loud, they were clear, they are visible, they continue to be loud, and they continue to be visible. And it wasn't stated in a language that required too much interpretation. You just need to hear it, and it was easy to understand. And if it wasn't easy to understand, then the reaction by the government to take the steps of dissolving and setting aside the cabinet only to reconstitute it in the manner that we have seen, would not have taken place. By the same token, when we hear the loud statements made by people who are then in the opposition, in Azimio mostly, and those who are in government about we shall not, we will, we cannot, blah, 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 whatever it is that they said, and now we see this formation, what are we to say? What are we to make of our politicians and their utterances? Are we to suggest that politicians should just say anything they want and change their minds at any time that they want?
But that's what they're doing.
Precisely. So then what does that tell us about people of that nature and their ability to actually deliver what it is that they have promised the nation?
Do they understand what the nation needs? That's a question that you ask yourself. First of all, do they actually understand? What's their interpretation of what the country needs? What's the interpretation of the moment? Because you see, this is a moment where people basically just came out to say enough is enough.
Yes.
Enough is enough with the old order, with the status quo of doing things.
Yes.
Not enough is enough with how we elected you into office. No. It's enough is enough with how you're doing the things that you're doing. Starting with the National Assembly, going to the executive and the presidency and saying, look, we do not think you are alive and aware of what we are going through as a country. The proposal to increase taxes is just showing you that you're completely blind and deaf to exactly what we are going through. And that's why we are saying louder, because maybe you're not reading the signs. We are actually now coming to the pour out to the street to tell you loudly that no. More taxes, no. What you need to do is change your expenditure habits. Okay? And so the president appears to say, okay, guy, that's what you guys want. You guys don't want more taxes? Okay, I'm going to change the expenditure habits. Number one, members of the National Assembly come out and like, hey, these guys are really angry at us. Yeah. The members in the minority who are celebrating and coming out to say, you see, we are the clean ones. We are the ones who are against these taxation measures. You see, us guys, we get it. We did not vote yes with this. We voted no on these matters of taxation. We get it. And then they all coalesce and come again and say, yeah, we get it. But you see, we have to do things the same way. The status quo has got to, because absence of the status quo equals anarchy. And that's the messaging.
We need structure.
That's the new
approach.
Absence of status quo is anarchy. If you change the status quo, my friend, you are taking us into anarchy. You will destroy this country. There will be violence. You'll be a refugee in your own country, or you'll be crossing over into these other countries where across up north there are landslides and people are dying and there is fighting. In South Sudan, they are here in Kenya. They're looking for peace. In Uganda, where will you go? Where will you go? Absence of status quo, my friend, is anarchy. So let's come together and protect the status quo for the sake of the stability of this great nation.
And if you dare say anything that indicates the contrary, then you are in danger of being treasonous.
Yes.
There's a likelihood that you want to unconstitutionally topple this government. You are bringing in the sort of messaging and the sort of narratives that are counterproductive to the development of our country. How on earth can this possibly be when you are referring everything that you are saying to a group of people who are so wishy-washy with what they say? And this is a leadership we're supposed to follow. This is a leadership whose word we're supposed to take. Okay, so which word do we take? If we are to take you at your word, which one?
Yeah,
what are we to take you?
You've said quite a number of them.
Yes.
So which ones are we supposed to pick up and then go
and say this is what we're going to go with?
Which ones will Kenyans look at you and say, okay, this is actually what we should believe and what we should go? For me, and this is what makes it a little bit worse for me, is that I truly do believe that leaders understand. I think they have heard and I think they know. I think that they know how bad life had gotten for Kenyans. I think they understood completely that it was more expensive. I think they knew that if you increase more taxes, it'll be a heavier burden on the back of Kenyans. I think they knew. I think they understood. I think they understand. What makes it worse for me is that with that knowledge and understanding, you still make a conscious, wide-eyed, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed decision to still do what you can to make it worse. For me, that's the thing that it just drives me nuts. That you are aware of the situation, you know how bad it is, you know that there are Kenyans who cannot afford a meal per day, and you are in a position whereby you can affect policy to do something about it, but you choose not to. It's akin to sin. It is actually criminal in nature for you to do something like that. But when an opportunity presents itself to you, you decide that you are going to coalesce
Yeah.
and be part of the broad base and to do all these other new buzzwords that we've thought about today. For me, that's the greater problem. Remember what former provost said here about
Simon
everybody-
Wainaina.
Yes. He said, everybody says saying stealing is bad, stealing is bad. When you get an opportunity in that place, how do we know that you're not going to take it? Look at the people who've been co-opted into government today.
Yep.
They've made statements over and over and over again in the last 2 years about one or two things, but given an opportunity to join the same government
Jump.
that they've castigated, they're inside.
No, let me ask you something. When you see, when you all witness celebrations in certain parts of the country, what does it tell you about the citizenry and how they understand this? So, it's important for you to have one of your own in government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, to what end? Has that to what end question actually been answered?
Because maybe some of the glitter will rub off on you.
How on earth does the glitter rub off on anybody? From our experiences, it rubs you off. I mean,
So what do you think? What do you think the people that we saw celebrating were celebrating?
they were
People even
Because-
singing during prayer meeting. That's-
one that we always do. On the surface of it, it tells you that we haven't moved away from this thinking that if one of your own is in a position of authority and power, there's a likelihood, a very high likelihood, that your life will change. Man, how many decades of independence? How many times must we go through this thing for you to learn that that is not how you benefit? You benefit when people are held to account. And that is what this uprising was teaching us, that you know something. It doesn't really matter in essence who you elect, not really. If they know they'll be held to account, they will do what they're supposed to do.
This
Yeah.
is it, man. And I'm sorry, but there's no other greater benefit, especially when you're talking about leading a nation state. When your people are thriving, guess what? You as a leader, you benefit. When your children can go to school, you benefit.
Yes, you do.
When there's medical facilities that work across the nation, across levels, you benefit.
Yes, you don't have-
When the
yes.
nation is thriving economically, you
will
benefit.
benefit.
When you reduce your debt, you benefit. When you sit at the table with nations around the world, you as a leader benefit. Not this microcosm of nonsense where we see that if you can be in a position where you are named somebody, that you'll be able to get a tender here. How myopic in thinking have we gotten to the point where you realize that it is for your own little thing here and your small cabal of people that you see as the benefit? It is fleeting in nature. It's like gone, like morning mist at noon. It is gone. Why can't we see it from this place whereby if we actually do the things that you're meant to do across nations and that your people in their livelihoods are thriving, that is when you benefit as a leader. There are benefits untold that on your back, in your administration, that you took a country from here to here. And it's the little leaps and bounds that all catch up into something greater. That you've educated, that you've fed, that you've provided a conducive environment where people in the nation can actually thrive. That's when you benefit as a leader. So for me, the question is, when will the scales fall off the eyes of people who want to be in those positions of leadership to realize that, you know what, that's the real benefit. That's what we should be heading for. Can it be that after 10 years, people are poorer, people are less educated, people are sicker, people are hungrier? And then you're going to pat yourself on the back and say, yes, we were part of this administration that led people? Give me a break.
You know, they don't care. And that's the thing we've got to look at the status quo. The status quo is the people who have been in the helm of our leadership. We've even given this example before. Every time, we pride ourselves, our democracy. Every time we have an election in every 5 years, 75% of MPs don't make a comeback. Okay? And we keep saying that Kenyans are unforgiving. You don't perform, you go home. 75% of members of parliament do not come back after an election. We forget it's usually the same 25% that keeps coming back. And the 75 are either properly aligned to the 25 or not. So it depends on the 25 are the ones who choose who accompanies them as their flower girls to fill up the numbers in top leadership. The top leadership of this country has always been the same cabal. They hand over the baton to their younger ones, whom they've groomed over time, and they're the same ones. The top leadership of this country has for a long time now, in the last 2 decades, been the same guys. those same guys were threatened by this faceless, tribeless, everything-less group of people.
So they coalesced.
And they coalesced. Because they always know, even when they're going into an election, it's always a game. We know I'm Manu, you Arsenal. Okay?
There's next season.
There's next season.
And their players will be sold and they'll move around. So after a point, you're not really sure which team has which players and which one, because they move around.
Exactly. When Wigan Athletic comes out of nowhere, or Sofapakas comes, Muranga Seals comes out of nowhere, you're like, No. We have got to change the game. We've got to change the rules of KPL so that, with this small people do not get into this.
They don't disrupt.
We need to have a national, broad-based conversation on how the Kenya Premier League shall be played, because these two small teams from Division 1 are coming.
They're disrupting
the status quo. That is what has happened in this country, and it has culminated in yesterday's announcement. The status quo was challenged. The status quo came back and said, no way, you are not knocking us off our turf. That's what they saw it to be. They saw that they are being knocked off their turf. They could not see it in any other way. Because when they were told you need to be accountable, they're like, if we are accountable, it means we no longer make our money.
How is this an answer, though? I've got to ask.
If
because I tried to make
answer to?
I had to make I'm trying to make the connection.
The answer is simple.
No. How was this, what we saw yesterday, an answer to the demands that are being made for accountability and responsibility when it comes to governance?
No. It's not an answer to that.
It was just, that's what I'm saying. It's like we're not even in the same room.
No.
This is happening while you make noise over here, and let's just continue with things
We have noticed what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is you're trying to come and disrupt our table. We have been eating here quietly, peacefully, and then you start come and saying, nataka kujua mmekula sahani ngapi ya mchele, ugali mmetumia nini gorogoro ngapi ya unga, and you're like, come on. Now when you start asking those questions, gorogoro ngapi ya unga, and we've been telling you tumetumia bill sita, now you are changing this conversation. We are not going to allow that. So we all come together and say, this everybody is now at peace, all right? We ought to have agreed
we have brought stability.
Atukuli grade 1 sifted, sasa tutakula ile unga ingine. Sawa. Lakini tutakula. Are we together? 28 minutes to 9. Let's take this break and then we will open the phone lines. What is your reaction and response to the formation of this broad-based government and the promises that were made by the president yesterday when he spoke? He said very many things. Tutaenda bunge, tutabadilisha sheria ndio watu wakuwe more accountable. Tutasema hii public
broad-based public participation.
The thing that was EACC versus Senate, that bill.
Public interest bill.
Conflict of
interest bill.
Yeah. Please, bunge mupitishe conflict, but caveat. If you touch that bill and you affect the spirit, I'm going to reject it. So those are the promises. What's your response to it?
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Waliletea fujo Moi mpaka wakapata cooperation. Wakakuja wakasumbua Kibaki mpaka wakachukua nusu mkate. Wamekuja wakazungusha Uhuru hapo mpaka wakaenda na handshake, program yetu ikapotea, BBI ikaendelea, tukazama, tukaingia kwa madeni. Sasa mimi nimewaambia, hii serikali mimi nawaambia hii serikali ni ya mahasla. Hakuna nusu mkate, hakuna handshake, hakuna hiyo borojo.
Jana nimeona wale wazee tulishinda. Ati hiyo mzee akisema ati he'll not be coerced or intimidated to joining our government. Wewe mzee sikia. We have no business within our government. Hatuna haja na hatugojei wewe. We are not looking for you and we have no time. Stop saying that people can force you to come to this government. Forget about being forced or coerced. We are not interested because sisi tuko na kazi ya kufanya.
Kama kuna mtu ako na namba ya William Ruto, alikodi hii video mtumie. Maisha yangu tangu nizaliwe sijawahi kuona mtu muongo, mfisadi, baradhuli, dhabdhabina kama William Samoei Ruto.
Mimi Hassan Joho nikitaka kuongea, I don't even dream of engaging with them. ati huyu akitaka aje aongee sio na mimi niongee na Ruto nini? Mimi nikamtafute atanipa nini? Wilbaro. I wonder. Nilipeleka Wilbaro mimi la kimtaani la kucheza nalo zamani.
We have a choice to reject over 60% of these names or give President Ruto his skunk. Apart from a few individuals who are not even more than 8, the rest are incompetent, unqualified, have integrity issues, are people who cannot deliver this country from where it is to the next level that we want the country to move in.
A few moments later.
Now forwarded the name of John Mbadi Ngongo to the Ministry of National Treasury and Economic Planning. The Honorable Hassan Ali Joho, Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs.
Nguruwe kujiganga na mafuta yake.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
0719012600 hata kuna mambo ya swali. Okay? Broad-based government has been formed. The president has promised to take us some action. What's your view on it? City. Uko na breakfast.
Baba, hii ni bread. Hii bread iko na slice. Yeah, slice. Okay. You know, when you talk of NUSU MKATE, sometimes I wonder, are you talking about a loaf which hasn't been sliced, so that when you cut in the middle, and I usually really show it's in the middle, the slice bit works well. You know why? You can count. But even as you count, you want to ask, are these slices all equal? Okay? You look at the plate on which it's going to land, are the plates of equal size? Okay? And this bread that we have here, is this bread kavu, or is it bread with accompaniment?
Iko na siagi.
Iko na siagi ama blue band. Na jam. There's another one called marmalade. Okay? Which one is it? Because if I take this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 6 slices. Okay? So if I take 3 and put it on this, okay, make sure that they look balanced on the plate. The plates seem like they're equal, made of the same material. And I decide, okay, Eric, I'm going to give you 3 slices of bread. Ndu is looking at the bread as well. So what do? Do I remove 1 slice and give Ndu, and you remove 1 and give Ndu, so we each have 2? But then Ndu doesn't have a plate. So where exactly are we going to put her slices?
Ndu has been talking badly of late. Ndu has been saying no bonging, no boarding.
But I can still eat bread.
No.
Today.
When you're saying the things you're saying, did you know you could eat bread?
I can change my mind. As a matter of, it's because it's my mind. I can wake up tomorrow morning and it can be different. I decided that I will not eat bread yesterday. I'll only eat guashe. Today, I've decided I can eat. I mean, since we're all eating bread, I mean, I might as well.
And all this talk about eating healthy and eating guashe and eating duma, that one you've abandoned.
I've not abandoned. It could come up sometime in the future. But today we're eating bread and we're sharing it halfly.
Who said?
It's broad-based.
It's broad-based bread. So we can all be together.
But you do know that broadly. The way, even as you two are discussing and talking about, it is my bread. I'm the one who has it. And all these slices are mine. So the division starts with me. It's not you telling me how to divide it.
No,
you can get. You think you're going to get 2 slices each? What if I decide to give you 1 slice each? What are you going to say?
That will not be broad-based.
It will not be broad-based. You're the one who has been saying broad-based. You are the one who started with the broad-based sharing.
No, you didn't have bread to begin with. Eric, you also didn't have bread. Now I'm telling you I'm going to give you a slice each. You're now dictating to me how I should give you bread.
Mahali umefika city.
Yes.
Hiyo mkate huwezi kula peke yako.
Why not? I have it. You can see I have
it. Either
unyongwe
ama ichukuliwe kutoka kwa mdomo yako.
Gen Z watakujia hiyo mkate.
Kwa mdomo.
You know, if I say
better share that bread.
Better share it now.
Ama Gen Z waingie.
Let me explain something to you.
You know we have a Gen Z boss. Akiingia hapa kwa studio inaenda.
You know.
Decide.
I think you misunderstood. Let me start again. This bread is mine. I think you're getting this thing wrong. It's not our bread. It is my bread. And I have decided that I'm sharing it. I have decided.
City, this bread was given to you. It was not yours. You did not grow the wheat. You did not bake it. You did not buy the bread.
You don't own the bakery.
It was given to you. So it's either you share it with us, or the guy who gave you that bread is coming for it.
You know, this. I don't know. I hang out with you two. You guys,
and if they come for
badly.
It, they will take the full bread.
You are talking
and even if you
badly.
have started eating the bread, we will put our hand. They will put their hands down your throat and remove the bread. The pleasure of enjoying the bread will not be yours.
This is the problem of trying to be nice to people and of trying to be somebody who understands the needs of the people and offering something that they didn't have to begin with.
All of us, City, know that it is better for the three of us to share this bread than to allow an outsider to come and we don't know. They could take all the bread and leave you with nothing. They could take 5 slices and only leave you with 1. Here we are telling you, you can keep 2 slices and give each one of us 2 slices.
And you better hurry up because the bread is drying.
Safer. Okay?
You know, the lack of
You better hurry up, the bread is drying.
And the next time bread comes, I'll be the one who will convince that person to give me the bread. I will share it with you as well.
When the bread comes, when will it come? You know, what was the bread? Here, you can even see it. You're talking about something you don't have. So how do you share something you don't have?
Let's go to the phone lines. Wacha tuone kama City atakuwa na hii mkate.
Wacha tuone kama tukimaliza bado atakuwa na hiyo
mkate bado atakuwa nayo hapa. Job in Mombasa, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
On the issue of bread and power, it is never given. It is always taken. Okay? That's the first thing. Gen Z yako na wanyewe, serikali yako na wanyewe. For now, serikali amechenga Gen Z. Accept it, have another cup of coffee. Cheers and good morning.
Umechengwa, ukichengwa tulia.
Yeah.
Thank you, Job. June in Canada. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I am very disappointed about Ruto and whatever he's done, to be honest.
Why?
Ruto is my neighbor, Okoh LD Apo Sugoi. He has let us down in Sugoi. Now he's letting us down in Kenya. It is quite unfortunate, though. How can you reappoint people like Murkomen that we have clearly said they should go home? We have seen people who call the Apo, watu wa boda wanasema, oh, we need Murkomen, but we know clearly that's a scammer. Those are people who are lying. You know, we know it cannot happen like that. Ruto has to go. In fact, there is no way you can be a leader. Kill us. You do not want us to speak up. You want to behave like Moi, who is my Tugen friend over there, Uko Baringo. But at the end of the day, you still want to lead us. You don't want us to speak up. You want to clamor everyone. It is a new era. I'm a millennial myself. We have Gen Zs who are actually speaking with us. Because we've been trying, but we've not had enough support because the Generation X above us did not hear us. They did not support us in any way. But now we have the Gen Zs who are actually with us.
Okay.
So what is wrong with Ruto trying to lie to us? We will not allow it. He's going home tomorrow. Let him wait for it. He's going home.
Thank you, June. In which part of Canada are you?
Oh, I'm in Edmonton.
So have a good one in Edmonton.
Thank you very much.
Zachary in Gatondo South.
Oh, guys, how good morning.
Good morning.
Zachary, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
Oh my God, I don't know what I say, but let me say this: you guys, you have preempted my contribution when you're having the discussion about the bread that Mr. Andrew is carrying there, and I hope he is going to share it with, especially the Gen Z. They are not.
He has no choice.
Joking with anybody. Yeah. So let me say this. Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Zachary, we can.
First of all, I congratulate ourselves because of the radio that we started, and we did so much civic education, talking, and so many things. Yeah. So when we go to heaven, actually God is going to give us our special praise because we did our part. Okay. But then let me say this. Yeah. The greatest mistake that each of us can do today is to go in town while shining, while exposing your bling bling, while exposing, like if it is Mr. Andrew there, he should not expose that bread. Actually, he should be coming hiding it because we have seen it is now the have-nots versus the so-called dynasties. Yeah. let the powers that be appoint whoever they want. But we have been shown clearly that the number of people who are hopeless in Kenya, actually, they are saying this: you guys, you cannot continue eating while we starve and die. And that discussion, that in fact, you should be now in the afternoon be going to the Kenya National Theatre, okay?
Okay.
you form a very good.
Thank you, Zachary. Have a good
form
one.
A very good. Thank you,
Asante.
guys.
Asante. Helen in Nairobi. Hello.
Oh, hello. Good morning.
Morning. Good
morning. Morning. Thank you, first of all, for bringing these discussions and being so comprehensive over the time that I've been listening to you. What I'd like to start off with the government. Shame, shame, shame on them. How dare they? Anyway, the time is coming, and plus, let them remember there's odious death. So let them continue to show us who they are, and we will come for them.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you.
Michael in Kisumu.
Hey, hi guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, now mine is very simple. I'm very upset, but there's something I'm not even upset with the politicians. There's something I've always been saying when it comes to our politicians. You do not get upset when a snake bites you because it is the nature of the snake. These guys are doing exactly what they do. Me, I'm actually more upset with seeing the pictures of guys in Homa Bay, in Mombasa, celebrating at home to wait on a pata post. I don't know, that's actually tells a lot more about the problem with our society. Homa Bay guys, Mombasa guys are now happy because Joho has gotten something. Today they're going to sleep hungry, same with Homa Bay guys. Yet guys like Ruto and Raila have been doing this for years, and we knew it was going to happen. This is what they do. I don't know if you're even upset with them. It is their nature. We should expect it. The problem is us.
So what should we do?
Yeah, first and foremost, really need to work on our voting patterns. The problem is, what this space, come 2027, we are the same guys who are going to vote in Mtuwe to Tena. The Gen Zs and the millennials right now are the majorities, but at the end of the day, we'll go back to our tribal cocoons. You see an educated millennial, an educated Gen Z will still go back vote. I'll vote for Raila because Nimtuetu. I'll vote for Ruto Nimtuetu. We need to change our mindset.
All right.
We don't even need civic education because you already know all these things.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Donald in Kakamega.
Good morning, City.
Morning, Donald. How are you?
I'm well.
What's your reaction to yesterday's announcement?
City, I don't think we need to have a reaction. We need to change the trajectory of this story. We need to educate the masses. Because if you find a pig in a trench, it's not strange. We all need to agree as Gen Zs and millennials and people who believe that this country can do better. We need to start educating the masses. We need to have a target, and this target is the next election. There's a lot of confusion going on, which we should not focus on, because as I said, when you find a pig in a trench, don't be surprised. So it's very clear that the president is deaf, and he's deaf by design. Because how do you snatch that loaf of bread from City and he wants to eat it? He knows that's what he eats. He knows where the butter is. And removing it from him does not help. So what we need to do as the masses, as the people, as a generation that is focusing on this country and believing that it can do better, we can make a change. We need to start civic education, because as politicians, I am a politician. I'm a member of County Assembly in Kakamega County. And I believe that as politicians, we keep the masses poor to keep on manipulating them. The people dancing in various areas saying, thank you, Mr. President, for electing our old guards back into the cabinet. A few people and individuals who have been given 500 shillings, 300 shillings at the expense of the reality that is happening.
So, Donald, the strategy is let's think 2027.
Let's think 2027 and not just 2027. Let us get this knowledge into our people.
Okay.
Let us translate this information into...
Are you saying the people are not knowledgeable at present?
City, the truth is that down here, I'm on the ground, and the truth is that people do not understand what our leaders do, what we expect from our leaders. When you stand up to ask for accountability for medical supplies in our hospitals, why we don't have that? People are paid 200 shillings. Someone who cannot even afford to pay for his medication will pelt you with stones for asking right questions.
Okay.
Why? Because they don't understand, why do we have these leaders? Why do we pay taxes? What is the use of my taxes?
Okay. Thank you, Donald.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Raz G in Nyeri.
How are you, Latiff?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hi, CP.
Hi.
Salamikeni vizuri. I know it's not a good time. But tumetoka mbali. Me, what I don't want wine, don't want to say all the games that we met. That is the end evil. Right now, what is next, Latiff? That is the question. What next? Because the happenings yesterday have only proved a point that we only have two tribes. We have two tribes in Kenya. The politicians, umeelewa? Alafu na sisi. Sasa sisi tutafanya nini? My suggestion going forward is that now let us focus mbele. Because now Raila Amolo Odinga was able to implement na akaenda na MKATE when he basically we told him to stay at home. Unaelewa? Sasa what next? We liberated the flag. For sababu I believe, I want to disagree with the caller mwenye ameingia. The only way Latiff, kama wameunda meza na wameenda mahali pamoja wote, let us overturn this meza. How do we overturn this meza? So that they don't eat. I know it will sound awkward, but civil disobedience is the only way right now. Let us wear our flag. The flag that we liberated from the politician. Kwa tulikuwa tunaandamana, tulikuwa na kila mtu na bendera. Let everybody have the flag. A flag will be a sign of we don't agree with this government at all. The other thing that is that hii wakati tunaenda kuunda IEBC, let the millennials, the GNB get involved. Let us push these guys so that we can be involved. Okay. Otherwise, tukikaa tu kusema it happen, then we are not going to liberate them.
Raji, thank you. Ochieng in Mombasa.
Yeah, good morning, Latiff.
Good morning to you.
According to me, I think that what the president have done si mbaya sana, because society yetu ndio imekuwa rote. We are a society of thieves. Sasa is better we have mtu akishaiba sana ataendelea kuiba, like City Muga vile na hizo mkati ukimuongeza zingine itabidi agawe
huyu
because atakuwa nanyi. Alafu don't you see na ukimpatia mwingine yule atachukua. Don't you see like kama Uhuru alimaliza ya terms zake hatukusikia manyumba anajenga. Ruto akiingia anajenga manyumba na compete no. Yani we compete with one another instead of competing tumalize poverty, tumalize ugonjwa, tumalize uneducation. Don't you see? Sasa our leaders wakichukua uongozi wao wanaiba, wana compete with one another. Sasa mwingine akichukua ata compete pia awe na saa kama ya Murkomen.
So afadhali Murkomen.
Alafu uzuri hata iba nunue saa nyingine.
Ameshanunua.
Ashanunua. Are you getting the point? Ndio hata unajua our system ingekuwa ile president asichaguliwe. Because awe huo mmoja akishaiba imemtosha ataiba atapeleka watu.
All right. Thank you, Ochieng.
Ukiingiza mwingine itabidi anunue majets manini waanze kushindana. Ni society ya kushindana.
Asante, Ochieng. Before you go, we've got to put it out there that we have no idea at all that Murkomen watches were bought out of.
We have been getting it in the news.
Tumemaliza hiyo story. Asante. Donald in USA. Ronald.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Eric.
Salama kabisa.
Habari ya CT na ndu.
Salama kabisa.
Salama kabisa.
Yeah, so let me go direct into the point.
Please do.
Yeah, the Gen Zs, they started on well. They had genuine concerns, but they have been hijacked by the political class to protect what they know best. And what we know is they are protecting what they have been stealing. That is why they don't want anybody close to their government. Secondly, I'm disappointed with the way President Ruto reappointed back the guys who he dismissed a few days ago on the basis of incompetency. You know, it's like it's the same monkey but different forests. It doesn't make any sense. People lost confidence in these guys, and you are bringing them back. So, what kind of picture are you giving out there?
Okay.
Maybe finally, so that I can give others some time to air their views. Mzee Raila has done his best. He haven't achieved much. The only honorable thing that he would have done was to sit aside and guide these young guys to take over so that at least we can see some change, to which we haven't seen for that long time. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much, Ronald. And thank you for all the calls, all the comments. There are many, even on social media, very many. We're going to be sampling them at some point through the show. Keep it here for more conversations. In the next hour, we have our Justice Thursday conversation. We'll be joined by an advocate of the High Court, Okoh, on matters of family and children. And this is the conversation we'll be having. Hey, even those conversations on YouTube are many.
Many.
Keep the conversations going. Let the debate rage. Siti, hiyo mkate, kaa nayo.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.